afternoon, everybody. Welcome to day 7, the last day of the yogathon, the Kiss My Asana Yogathon to support Mind Body Solutions. They're a wonderful nonprofit organization to help transform trauma, loss, and disability. And they do this through wonderful offerings for healthcare professionals as well as patients. And they have a wonderful YouTube channel with lots of content that's made available for free, and your donations help to support that. So thanks again for joining me all week for these practices, and thank you also for all the donations that everyone has made to support them. And with that, we'll get started with our practice today. And I thought it might be fun to use a ball instead of a chair. We'll be doing a lot of the same practices that we did in the chair, but we're going to do it with the ball so we can experiment and see what that feels like to have a little bit of challenge to our balance with something that's not quite as stable, and lets us work some different muscle groups, having that different challenge of not having a stationary seat. And the ball that I have has some sand in it, so it doesn't roll away when I stand up. If your therapy ball does not have sand in it and you're concerned that it might roll away, you could take a couple of tube socks filled with rice and make a little circle to make like a nest. So set your ball in to help with stability. We definitely want to always practice in a way that makes us feel safe. And if you don't have a therapy ball, most of the things we do today, we could certainly do from just a regular chair. So we'll start out finding mountain posture, bringing our ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Taking the ankles directly underneath the knees. Take our toes and our knees tracking in the same direction. And for stability, we may need to have our feet just a little bit wider if we're using a ball. And let's take just a moment and notice our bodies. Observing so that we know what kind of changes we were able to make when we go back and check in with our bodies at the end of practice. We need that reference point so that we can be aware of how we are shifting things in our body with our practice. Let's take a big breath in. Now let a big sigh out. Big breath in. Big sigh out. One more big breath in. Big sigh out. Big breath in. And this time, as you let a big sigh out, keep the lips closed. Big breath in. And let a big sigh out with closed lips. Feeling that ocean sound at the back of the throat. Take a few more at your own pace. Staying with this breath as you let the sigh out and hear that whispering ocean sound at the back of the throat. This is a wonderful breath to use throughout your practice, if it's available. But use any breath that feels comfortable to you. And if you have the eyes closed, slowly blink them open, bringing your awareness back into the room. And from here, we'll take a gentle bounce on our ball. It can be very small, or it can be very vigorous. Find out what feels best for you. I'm going to take somewhere in the middle here. Just a nice, gentle bounce. Being able to feel that gentle rocking or bouncing throughout the whole body. Feel it in the shoulders and head. This is a really nice, gentle way to warm up the body. We can even make this aerobic if we're choosing to bounce very vigorously. Just bouncing here, feeling those vibrations throughout the body. And keep the breath moving. Take a few more deep breaths here. You're doing great with that gentle bouncing. And begin to slow it down, and we'll come back to stillness. And so take just a moment here and notice. Notice your heart rate. Notice your breath. Notice any sensations in your body. Do you feel any tingling in the hands or in the feet? Knowing that that little bit of tingling is actually an increase in our microcirculation, we just help to improve the blood flow throughout our whole body, particularly in our arms and in our legs with that simple bounce. And so from here, if you're seated in a chair instead of a ball, we'll bring the hands over the hips and we'll begin to do some very gentle circles, lifting up through the crown of our head. And exhale as you hinge forward, keeping good contact with your seat. So those of us on the ball, we can do this as well, or we could change it up and we could rotate through our hips. We could keep the spine still, pressing through the feet, and then rolling, tucking our hips under, and then tipping them forward, and drawing the hips in a nice circle. And just notice what other playful movements happen as we do this. Now notice which direction you chose to rotate, whether you're using your upper body or the lower body for those circles. Let's pause for just a moment at the top, and now let's move in the opposite direction. So pressing into the feet to help us roll our hips We'll feel the ball circle a little bit underneath us. And keep the breath moving. Let's take 2 more nice big circles. And we'll come back to the center, taking a moment to notice how we feel. We're going to plant our left foot, feel well anchored here, and we're going to stretch out now with the right foot. Being mindful of if we feel unsteady on the ball and making any adjustments that we might need so that we don't roll or slide off of our ball. And we're going to extend out through the right heel, curl the right toes up towards the knee. And from here, we're going to point and flex the toes. And then just begin to notice the extra work that's happening to steady ourselves over the ball as we make this small movement in our toes, pointing and flexing them. And now let's draw the toes in a circle. Notice which direction you chose to move. Now let's move in the opposite direction. And again, just noticing the extra work that happens to stay seated and steady over the center of the ball. And let's press out through the heel, curling the toes up towards the knee. And we'll exhale, hinge at the hip, and we'll gently forward fold. Hands can be on the thighs or hanging onto the ball or the chair. And we don't have to go very far at all to feel a nice stretch down the back of the leg. We'll inhale, come up. And we'll exhale, hinge at the hip, lead with the heart, very gently forward fold. And we don't have to go far at all. Being very gentle. And last one, we'll exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up. We'll take just a moment, recentering ourselves over the ball or the chair. And take just a moment, noticing the difference between the right and the left side. And when you're ready, let's stretch out now with the left foot. Press out through the heel, curl the toes up towards the knee. We're going to exhale, forward fold, inhale, come back up. And let's point and flex the toes. And again, just noticing the extra work that we need to do to stay centered over our ball. Feel free to touch the ball or touch the thighs, whatever we need. Again, point and flex those toes. And now let's press out through the heel, curl the toes up towards the knee before we rotate the toes. Draw some circles. And this is a lot of extra work. I'm generating a lot of heat. I'm feeling very warm in my practice today with the extra work. All these muscles firing to stay steady over the ball. And notice which direction did you choose to rotate your toes. Now let's go the opposite direction. And now we'll come back to the center, press out through the heel. We're going to use our exhale and we're going to gently forward fold over both legs, finding a nice big stretch down the back of the leg. We'll inhale, come up, and we'll exhale, forward fold, leading with the heart. Being very gentle, knowing that we don't have to go far at all to get a benefit. And last one, exhale, forward fold. And we'll inhale, come up. And take a moment, find your mountain posture, and just notice Notice those differences between the right and the left side. Noticing how we feel having done that same stretch on each side. And let's take a moment and kind of bounce it out. That was a lot of work. Maybe we generated some tension in some places. So let's just use this nice bounce to loosen up through the body. Using that nice vibration that we're creating with this gentle movement to help loosen up any tightness and to improve our circulation. And we'll come back to the center and be nice and still here. And let's take the feet nice and wide. Perhaps we need to stand up and reposition over the ball. Take the knees as wide as you comfortably can. Draw the ankles directly underneath the knee. Take the toes and the knees tracking in the same direction. Finding a nice wide-legged stance. And we'll take just a moment to breathe here. Just feeling that nice opening to the inside line of our leg. We can touch the ball if that helps steady us, telling us that the floor is closer than we think. Or if you like, perhaps we inhale, stretch up with the hands, and then exhale, bend at the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Let's inhale up, and we'll exhale, bend at the elbow, keep the chest lifted. We'll take 3 more, inhale up, exhale. This will be our last one. We'll relax the hands down. And we'll walk the feet back over the center. Reposition if you need to. And again, let's take a few little bounces. And from here, we're going to do our warrior series. So step the feet wide over the ball, keeping your left foot in a nice right angle with toes and knees tracking in the same direction, and stretch out with the right leg, bringing the sole of the foot down to the floor so that we're nice and steady. And we're going to inhale, bringing the arms up. I don't have room here, so I'm just going to do one arm. Bring the hand about shoulder height. And we're going to take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, using your exhale, let's draw that left forearm down over the left thigh. We're going to inhale, stretch up and over with our right arm. And then spiral that right shoulder up and open. Let the heart shine out. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. Reaching through those fingertips of the right hand, dropping that right hip down, and breathe. And when you're ready, reach through those right fingertips, come up and out of the stretch. And now let's walk the right hand down the right leg. Inhale as you stretch up with the left hand. Walking that right hand as far down as you comfortably can without collapsing forward. Keep the heart nice and lifted. Spiral that left shoulder up and open. Heart shines out. And take your gaze in any direction that feels good. So where is your neck the happiest? That's the best place to be looking. And we'll take 3 big breaths. Reaching through those left fingertips, feeling heavy in that left hip. And when you're ready, reach through those left fingertips, coming up and out of the stretch. Relax the hands down. And now let's walk that right leg in, coming over the center of the ball or the chair. And we'll take just a moment, observing the differences between our right and our left side. Notice where we feel some of the opening. And even beginning to think about the difference of how this feels doing it in the chair versus on the ball. What are those subtle differences in where we get more work, more opening, or more challenge to our balance? And just noticing those differences. And now let's walk the feet off to the side of the ball. And we're going to get ready to do our warrior series on the left side. So we'll keep our right leg in a nice right angle, toes and knees tracking in the same direction, pressing that knee open, and then stretching out with the left leg. So taking a moment to make any adjustments that you may need, and we'll stretch out with both hands. Relax the shoulders away from the ears, bringing the hands about shoulder height. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, using your exhale to bring that right forearm over the right thigh. Inhale as you stretch up and over with the left arm. Spiral that left shoulder up and open. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, reach through those left fingertips coming up and out of the stretch. We're going to walk the left hand down the left leg. Inhale as you stretch up. Spiral that right shoulder up and open, heart shines out. And we'll take 3 big breaths. And when you're ready, reaching through those right fingertips, coming up and out of the stretch, we'll relax the hands down. Now let's walk that left leg in, adjusting the ball if we need to, coming back to the center and taking just a moment. Notice how we feel since we did that same stretch on both sides. Let's take a gentle bounce. And come back to stillness. Let's take a moment to come up off of the ball. And if it's available, coming down onto the knees. If you need to use a blanket or something to pad underneath the knees. And if you have any tension in the knees, sometimes it can be helpful to roll up a towel and place it behind the crease of the knee so that as you sit back, you get a little bit of space and opening in the knee. So that is an option to help with bending onto the floor. And from here, we're going to roll our balls out and take a nice gentle variation of a child's pose. Inhale as we come up and exhale. Let our hands roll forward on the ball, let the head come down and the heart shine forward. And we have the option to do this without the seat towards the heels. It just depends on what feels good for your knees. So taking whatever variation that feels good for you and your body. A couple more. Using your exhale. And if you like, you can sneak those heels down. It's your choice. Whatever your body needs. Lots of ways to do this. This will be our last one. So whether you're sinking the heels down or rolling the hands out with the ball, either one. And we'll let go of the ball, walking the hands down to the floor, coming up. From here, we'll take a seated position, supported on the floor. So if you have a bolster or a blanket, it can be really nice to elevate the hips. Hi, Yankee. Hi, buddy. So elevating the hips, bringing them above the knees, can help to bring some opening in our easy sit posture. I think Yankee wants to join the yoga practice. So here in our easy sit posture, we're going to take some nice gentle stretches for the side body. We're going to plant the hand down either over our bolster or the floor, whatever feels good. We're going to inhale, stretch up and over. Inhale as we reach up. Exhale, drop the hand down. And let's inhale, opposite hand, and we'll exhale. Tilt over to the other side. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, plant the hand on the other side. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, tilt over. Inhale as we reach up. Exhale, plant the hand. And we'll inhale, up, and exhale, over. Inhale, reaching up. Coming back to the center. Taking just a moment to notice how we feel. And then let's set ourselves up for a nice, comfortable relaxation. So whether you'd like to stretch out on the floor or be supported in a chair, let's take a few moments and set ourselves up for comfort and to be in a position that invites a lot of stillness. So once you find yourself in that comfortable and supported position, let's begin to tune into our breath. Just beginning to notice where it moves in the body. And then with each inhale, seeing if we can reach our inhale deeper into the lungs, further into the belly. And can we inhale and feel that breath moving all the way through the entire body? Can you draw your breath in all the way to your heels and to your toes? Can you draw the breath in and help it expand into the heels of your hands and your fingertips? Inhale, bring in light, bring in love, bring in healing to every part of your body. Using your breath to help nourish and restore the places that need it the most. If you have thoughts, let them come and then let them go. Send them off into the breeze with each exhale. You have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to be. But right here, taking good care of yourself. Very slowly begin to bring your awareness back into the room, making small movements in your hands and in your feet, very gently waking up the body. Let the eyes be the last thing to open. If you're on the floor, rolling over onto one side, taking a few breaths there before gently using your top hand to press into the floor, slowly coming up to seated. Take just a moment to sit up nice and tall and notice, how does your body feel? What was the effect of your practice? Offer your body some gratitude for the fun and playful practice that we had today. And when you're ready, opening the eyes. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Your health is your greatest wealth, and I appreciate you investing in that with me today. We'll inhale up, and together we say, Namaste.